What's good, everybody? It's Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction, and we're back at it with another review. This is the review of the Attack on Titans final episode. Oh my goodness. If you're new to the channel, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video. We're on the road to 5K. So this will be a non-spoiler review. After, give it a little bit of time, to where most people should see it, I'll do a spoiler review. But just off of watching it, oh my goodness, let me just say the story is brilliant. The episode, like, for this to be an end after 10 years, it was the word that I can definitely say to describe this episode was payoff. I'm a manga reader, so I did read the manga, so I knew the ending, but there was hope for a anime original ending, which, you know, I guess in some cases with certain scenes, it technically maybe, but there wasn't the anime original ending, which is fine. Before, I think that I wanted that, but I think that actually with looking at the episode verse, there's definitely some aspects of the ending that I feel like the manga did better, and some aspects that I think the anime did better as far as the ending. I think as far as explaining certain things and having things fleshed out, I think the anime definitely did a amazing job. It definitely did a better job because after knowing what the ending was in the manga and then seeing this, it clicked in a way that it didn't in the manga. And I was all like, okay, I can actually really understand this. And then another insight and thought that I had at the end of this was we do have to remember that they're young like basically it's supposed to be in high school, seniors in high school, if anything, like, a freshman in college type of thing. So we have to think about that mentality, and then we also have to think about the mentality of that with the circumstance. And so I think when I put all those together, I was like, okay, I definitely understand and appreciate the ending more with the anime. Now, I would definitely say there were certain moments that I felt were executed better in the manga, and that's crazy for it to be executed better in the manga. I think that there was the emotional weight that was here within the anime, but there was certain expressions, certain things that I was just all like, when I read it in the manga, it just hit harder, you know. And maybe that was because it was, finding out what was happening for the first time. But I would definitely say that though I read the manga, for me, I don't think it took away too much from the impact of the anime and just the whole anime in general, because I saw the anime before starting reading the manga. It was all like after a certain point I started reading the manga, but I started off Attack on Titans with as far as the anime. So, like I said, there was several things that was just a payoff. There was certain scenes that was added, and I don't think that it didn't take away too much. And there was just certain aspects that, especially towards like the ending after everything happens, there's certain characters that I felt that interaction in the manga kind of solidified as far as kind of like not necessarily bearing the hatchet per se, but it was kind of the representation of unity, so to speak. Um, Now the animation in general, the animation was dope. There was certain scenes that I had heard that the author had m- either he did some of it or some of his panels were going to be in it, and I think I can tell specifically which ones those were because they were like completely different, but there definitely was some aspects in the animation where it did make me question for like a second, but it was like for quick seconds. It wasn't nothing to deter the whole thing. Nah, nothing like that. The voice acting was amazing. Oh my goodness, the voice acting was amazing. Everything was pretty jam packed. It didn't feel like an hour plus. It did feel shorter, but man, like the way certain things, I was all like, oh my goodness. I was definitely during several parts crying like a little bitch. I ain't even gonna lie. Because you look at the circumstance and, and again, I'm not trying to spoil it, but it gets laid out in the way that it's presented as far as why everything's happening. For some people, I can understand why they may be confused. But like I said, if you look at everything in context, everything from, Ymir, everything from the main characters, everything for the setting, even all the way at the end. The one thing that they, as far as both because they're both completed now, the anime and the manga. I guess the only like one of the main things I guess I would have liked was some closure to one of the characters. We got closure to pretty much everyone else but this specific one, which I thought was just, and it just occurred to me at the end because I was just all like, but in some ways I'm just all like, I guess during the time that they had during a certain point, maybe that was it, but Mikasa, several other people had that moment as well. And on top of that, there was still some, it almost made it seem like it wasn't about the three of them anymore, type of thing. But I mean, really, with the circumstance and what ended up happening, it's just all like, well, I mean, it might have been a fair deal, Um, there was some aspects that in the maybe if you zoomed in at the very ending you can see, but it was like it almost made it more clear in the manga as far as certain aspects after the end, like the very, very end. And in this, I'm kind of glad that they did it, even though it's there. And if you zoom in, maybe you see it, but it I'm glad that they did it. It did bring everything to where it focused on like a lot of the important things. The runtime was good. Animation was good. The closure to this entire 10-year journey was wrapped up beautifully. And even now I'm just all like, let me hurry up because I'm starting to, have flashbacks and get emotional. But it was good. It was good. It was amazing. There was like slight thing again, nothing's perfect. There was slight little things in animation and in certain expressions, like I said, that they did better in conveying it in the manga. But overall, this was great. The soundtrack, that was another thing. I actually thought that there was gonna be more music on certain scenes, but they did have it in in where it really, really mattered. But in other cases, it was just all like, man, I thought that there would be more. Like, because I'm thinking about, the final season, part one, and Hans, and just everything that was going on. Like, I was just like, that was so perfectly done. And I feel in some ways that they kind of did it, but it didn't have that type of effect. And I think that at the end, I was kind of expecting that kind of effect, like at the end of that episode, even though there definitely was more to be emotional. Like it was great for different reasons. And in as a piece, as the ending to an entirety, I'm just all like, bravo. I'm gonna be studying this because it was definitely brilliant. I think, again, if you look at everything in a whole, remember how old or how young the main cast is in regards to the storyline. And if you and also just think about, especially at the end, because the author does a really great job of kind of posing the question, is there ever truly peaceful? There never be conflict, and when you think about that, especially with different things that are happening around the world, just with things that have happened in human history, it's like, dang, man, if you really just look at everything in a whole as a whole, you know, it really does make sense. And even when it comes to, as far as like, you know, posing different questions in regards to love, I thought that that was handled very uniquely in this, and it just, you look at it, you just like, again, I don't want to spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm just thinking, I'm just all like, dang, man, everything that I would just say everything that they went through, it there's definitely the payoff in regard. I think if everyone just like keeps it in the story, i.e., don't think about as far as what you would have done or this differently, or you wanted, certain things that happened and they did. If you just look at it in the story in a whole and ponder on the concepts that are being, thrown around and explored, I really think it is truly a masterpiece. Great job. Again, I'm gonna wait, give it some time before I do like an in-depth review. That way I could talk about certain things. But anyways, guys, let me know what y'all thought in the comment section. It's Mr. Composition, MC that writes fiction. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video on the road to 5K. Make sure to check out the description for all of my goodies, my music, my comic, and my book. All of that. All right, peace.
Yo, the black sheep of the black sheeps. Yo, it gets grim when the pen reaps. Silence when the honor one speaks. Gotta work while everyone sleeps. Can't sleep on the work that I do to beats. Being ready for the return to fall. Maybe I should be asleep, but these full moon vibes got me in the deep. Emotional roller coaster strapped in my seat, ready for a trip to find what I seek. Passing through the galaxy into my office, translating thoughts into deep science. Got the sun in my pocket, build your resilience. So when the next winter cycle comes, I prepare with no losses. So